Hi students, intermediate first year English medium. Dear students, law of diminishing marginal utility we successful in first part, and today I am going to analyze the second part of the law of diminishing marginal utility. How can we explain the law of diminishing marginal utility of second part? Let me analyze it clearly. Say the law of diminishing marginal utility part 2. Okay, here already we discussed in the previous videos. The law of diminishing marginal utility was introduced by H.H. Gaussian in 1854. Later, Alfred Marshall was developed this law with the help of his cardinal utility. So the cardinal utility was not introduced by the H.H. Gaussian. The cardinal utility was introduced by the Alfred Marshall to analyze the law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, to analyze the law of diminishing marginal utility, the Alfred Marshall was taken the cardinal utility. So according to the cardinal utility, already we know H.H. Gaussian in 1854 and Alfred Marshall was developed this law with the help of cardinal utility. Let me say here the cardinal utility, for example, first one is quantity. And here utility or marginal utility. Marginal utility. Utility means satisfaction. Try to understand. Utility means satisfaction quantity. And the utility means satisfaction. Here, when we take the first one, goods and services one maybe. For example, if you take the one banana, the banana will give us how much? Same. నెక్స్ట్ నెంబర్లు ఇవే తీసుకోవాలని ఏం లేదు, మనం ఏవైనా మార్చుకోవచ్చు. అవునా, పాత దాంట్లో ఉన్నాయి నెంబర్లు తీసుకోవాలని, టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ లో ఉన్నాయి తీసుకోవాలని ఏం లేదు. సో వీ కెన్ టేక్ ఎనీ నెంబర్స్, బట్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. హియర్ క్వాంటిటీ, హియర్ ఐ టేక్ డిఫరెంట్ నెంబర్స్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, when we take the banana, one banana gives us 5 utils of what are the utils or units? What we can say? Units. 5 units of satisfaction. Okay, then when we take the second banana or second apple, the second apple gives us less satisfaction than previous one. Why? When we take the first one will be very tasty. When we take the second one gives us less than the previous one. It's psychological fact. ఫస్ట్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ గా బాగా టేస్ట్ గా ఉంటుంది, రెండవది తక్కువ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, దెన్ when we take the third one gives us the 3. Okay, then when we take the fourth one gives us 2. When we take the fifth apple or banana will gives us 0 satisfaction. Why, sir? Means when we take the number of goods or services increases, the deriving satisfaction is goes or decreases. The deriving satisfaction is goes on decreases. So when we take the fifth one will not give the additional satisfaction, marginal satisfaction. Why? First one gives us 5 units of satisfaction, the second one 4, the third one 3, but the fifth one you will not get any satisfaction from the fifth commodity. Why? Because your satisfaction is already completed. You no need to take the extra satisfaction from any goods and services. Okay, so here 0. Then when we take the sixth one gives us 1 minus 1. Then seventh one it is goes to minus 2. Okay, and here try to understand the marginal utility goes on decreases. Already we discussed the previous videos in marginal utility. So it is the first one. When we take the second one gives us one called as marginal. Marginal is called additional. For example, this is a marker. When we take the another is marginal. First one is not marginal. Marginal means additional. Another one, next one. Okay, so marginal here మార్జినల్, ఇక్కడ మార్జినల్, దెన్ దీనికి ఇది మార్జినల్, దీనికి ఇది మార్జినల్. సో వెన్ వి టేక్ ద అనదర్ వన్ is called the marginal utility is goes on decreases. So diminishing, what is the marginal utility was diminishing, the diminishing marginal utility here decreases, here 0, here negative. This is marginal utility position in 3 stages. Then total utility, TU, and this is MU, marginal utility. What is the total utility? Already we discussed previous videos. 5 plus 4 9, 9 plus 2 12, 14 and 14 13 11. Okay, so these are the total utility and these are the marginal utility. So this is a table of diminishing marginal utility. And once again you check up the total utility increases, and here quantity increases, total utility increases, here maximum, and here decreases. Okay, see, according to diagram, this is a diagram. Here total utility, marginal utility. Okay, and here quantity, number of goods or services. Quantity, it may be goods and services. Quantity, here try to understand total utility and marginal utility. Zero. What is going on? Start from 5. The marginal utility starts from 5. Here 5 to it goes on decreases. When here 0, when the curve is touch the OX axis, the curve value will become 0. So here 0 and it goes to minus values. That's why the curve is goes to the minus values. This is the presentation of marginal utility. This is MU. Okay, MU. Then go to the total utility. Total utility is also starts from 5 onwards. 5, 9, 12. Increases. Clear? 5, 9, 12, then 14. So when it is a maximum, this is maximum. When the total utility maximum, at the same time the marginal utility will become 0. So total utility maximum, the marginal utility will become 0. This is a first and this is a second. This is second and third. Marginal total utility decreases. Total utility decreases. This is a total utility. Okay, this is a third stage. Let me analyze clear. Simple. When the marginal utility decreases, same simultaneously the two actions are happened. Marginal utility decreases, the total utility also increases. It is the first stage. And then marginal utility goes to negative, the total utility goes to the decreases. So here this is first and this is the second stage maximum and this is third stage, same as stage. So this is the way of the presentation of for example, this is maximum. The maximum is what is the maximum? 14. Here 10, 5, 2, 1. నెంబర్లు ఇవే తీసుకోవాలని మనం ఇక్కడ ఏ నెంబర్ తీసుకుంటే అక్కడ ఈ నెంబర్లు వేసుకుంటాం. లేదు నెంబర్ నాకు ఇష్టం లేదు సార్ అనుకున్నప్పుడు ఈ నెంబర్తో సంబంధం లేకుండా కూడా చేయొచ్చు మనం. ఏమని ఇక్కడ ఏదో ఒక గుర్తు పి ఆర్ ఇక్కడ ఏదో ఎస్ అట్లా పెట్టుకోవచ్చు. లేదు నెంబర్లే ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి మీరు ప్రైమరీ ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్ వాళ్ళు కాబట్టి బేసిక్ మీకు అవగాహన లేదు కాబట్టి ఇక్కడ నెంబర్లు ఏది చూపించాం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ హియర్ ఫర్ అ 5 starts from 5 and increases also from 5, decreases and the same increases. So this is a total utility and this is a marginal utility. Okay, and here try to understand the total utility increases at the decreasing rate. The total utility increases decreasing rate and the goes to the maximum and will become decreases. It is the action of total utility and this is the action of marginal utility, but the number of goods are increases 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, so this is the presentation of law of diminishing marginal utility diagram. Okay, so this is a diagrammatical explanation of the law of diminishing marginal utility, quantity or goods and services. Okay, but here and one thing to be noted here, if you want to analyze the diminishing marginal utility, we have to keep some assumptions. Without assumptions the law cannot be applied. Why? Because it's a psychological fact. Why? Because it is a psychological fact. Due to we have to keep some assumptions. So when the assumptions will be true, the law will be true. Unless the will not be applicable. What are the assumptions are there? Let me analyze the assumptions of law of diminishing marginal utility. See here, assumptions. What are the assumptions? Means one is the utility can be measurable. First one, utility can be measurable. How, sir? How can we measure the satisfaction? No one can measure. Why? Because it is a psychological fact. When you take the banana, can you say how much satisfaction you can get after getting the banana? After taking the banana? No. Can you say after taking the tea how much satisfaction you can derive? No. How can you say when you go to the cinema after cinema how much satisfaction you are get derived from the cinema? No. No one can measure. But according to Alfred Marshall, let us assume utility can be measurable. Suppose I am lecturing. How much satisfaction derived from me? No. No one can measure. But something you been earn, something to be we are getting. Isn't it? Suppose when we take the banana will give us some satisfaction, Some getting satisfaction is there. But we can't measure. మనము తీసుకుంటే కొంత సాటిస్ఫాక్షన్ అయితే వస్తుంది, కానీ వస్తుంది అంటున్నాం కానీ చెప్పలేము, మెజర్ చేసి చెప్పలేము. సో ఇక్కడ చెయ్యొచ్చు అంటాడు, చెయ్యండి అంటాడు, ఎగ్జామ్షన్ చేసుకోండి. సో యూటిలిటీ కెన్ బి మెజరబుల్. ఇఫ్ నాట్ మెజరబుల్ ద లా కెనాట్ బి అప్లైడ్. ఓకే, ఇఫ్ వి మెజరబుల్ ద లా కెన్ బి అప్లైడ్, ఇఫ్ నాట్ ద లా కెనాట్ బి అప్లైడ్. ఫస్ట్ వన్. అండ్ ద సెకండ్ వన్, ద లా ఆఫ్ డిమినిషింగ్ మార్జినల్ యూటిలిటీ to be applied on the based on the goods are homogeneous. Goods are homogeneous. What are the goods are homogeneous? Means the goods and services which we are taking, that should be homogeneous. Means so if you take the apple, all should be apple. If you take the mango, all fruits should be mango. If you take the anyone, that should be homogeneous. No differentiate between one commodity to another commodity. All should be same. When the goods all should be same, the law can be applied. Unless the law cannot be applied, means the goods which we are going to consume, that should be take homogeneous goods to be applied. Okay, then next one, the goods are reasonable size. The goods are should be reasonable side. For example, first 2 and second 2 and the third 2. When the goods are very small, the law will not be applied. So at the fifth apple or fifth quantity, the satisfaction should be 0. But when the goods will be divided into two per small, the law will not be applied. If you take the 100 units, they will not getting the 0 satisfaction. So the goods are reasonable, means not too big, not too small. Suppose if you take the large quantity, now here will be a 0 and 2 are enough. Here will be a 0. But when you take the small size, so when they take the number of units, the satisfaction will not be 0. So the goods which they are going to consume, that should be reasonable size. The reasonable size to be required. Application of the law of diminishing marginal utility. And next one, there is no time lag or time gap. No time gap. What is the no time gap? Means the consumption of this quantity to be continuously they want to consume. Then only the law will be applied. Unless the law will not be applied. Why? Because I am taking 2. After 1 hour I can take 2. And after 2 hours I can take 2. So you can take number of goods. But the satisfaction will not decrease. So if they want to decrease the satisfaction, the number of goods continuously they want to consume, then the law will be applied. Unless the law will not be applied. Then habits of the consumer and the income of the consumer and the taste of the consumer, okay, and the preferences of the consumer are the remaining the same. Okay, and then the satisfaction which the derived from the goods and services are individual. The different goods will give us the different satisfaction. The first one gives 5 units. The second one will not give the same satisfaction. Different independent satisfaction will be gives the independent goods. Okay, and then consumer is a rational. What is the rational? Rational means he wants to get the maximum satisfaction from the goods and services. Consumer is a rational. He always weight the income which is spending on commodity and getting satisfaction from the goods and services. Means consumer, if the good and services will give the more satisfaction, that only is ready to expenditure on that goods and services. ఆ వస్తువు నుంచి ఎక్కువ సాటిస్ఫాక్షన్ వస్తుంది అంటేనే ఖర్చు పెడతాడు, లేకపోతే పెట్టాడు. ఎక్కువ సాటిస్ఫాక్షన్ వచ్చేదే తీసుకుంటాడు. సో కన్స్యూమర్ ఈజ్ ఎ రేషనల్. హీ వాంట్స్ టు గెట్ ద మ్యాక్సిమం సాటిస్ఫాక్షన్ ఫ్రమ్ ద గూడ్స్ అండ్ సర్వీసెస్. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద assumptions ఆఫ్ ద law of diminishing marginal utility. So when these assumptions will be true, the law will be true. If not, the law will not be true. Why? Because it is a psychological fact. It is a psychology. No one can prove it. But actually the action will be there. But no one can measure. సపోజ్ నువ్వు టీ తాగావు, నీకైతే సంతోషం కలిగింది. ఆ సంతోషాన్ని మనం కొలవలేము కదా, మెజర్ చేయలేము కదా. కాకపోతే అనుకోండి గింత అని అనుకొని మాత్రమే ఇట్లా ఈ assumptions. So these are the assumptions based on the law of diminishing marginal utility. So students, so this is the way of the presentation of the law of diminishing marginal utility. So thank you.